Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing positive testing and negative testing. So our today agenda is we'll be discussing what is positive testing, what is negative testing and difference between positive testing and negative testing. Before we proceed, I would request you to please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed so that you will be not missing any important updates. Without any delay, let's get started. So basically what is positive testing? In positive testing, we will be testing the application with the valid data sets or valid input. Okay. So what we do is we will test the application as per the customer requirement. According to the customer requirement, we will be testing the application with valid set of data and valid input. That is your positive testing. Basically, it is done to check whether the application or software behaves as expected according to the customer requirement. So that is the main intention of doing positive testing. Let's understand this with an example. Suppose I am having a text box. Okay. And the requirement is this text box should allow 5 to 10 characters and it should accept only alphabets. So this is what my requirement. So as part of positive testing, how I'll be going to test this text box. Okay. So what are all the valid data sets I'll be taking? I'll be testing this text box by taking 5 characters of alphabets as a input. Okay. For example, let's say Rajiv. So I'll be entering this data set Rajiv, which is having 5 characters and it includes only alphabets. My requirement is this text box should allow only 5 to 10 characters of data and it should accept only alphabets. So as per the requirement, I should be using such a valid data that it should accept only 5 characters along with only alphabets. So that is why I have taken this data set which is Rajiv. Okay, and I'll be testing this text box by using this data set. Then I'll be testing with another valid input which is your 10 characters because it is saying right 5 to 10 characters. So I have already tested with 5 characters. Now I'll be taking the maximum length which is your 10 characters. Okay, so I'll be taking 10 characters of alphabets and testing this text box. Then the third scenario will be I'll be taking a data in between 5 to 10 characters and it should accept only alphabets. So for example, I'll be taking this input and I'll be testing this application. So these are various combinations of valid data sets as part of testing this text box and as part of this positive testing. Now let's understand what do you mean by negative testing. So in negative testing, what we'll be doing is we'll be testing the unwanted condition or unexpected condition by taking invalid data set or invalid input. Okay, so basically we'll be checking the application or the software and we'll be ensuring that the application behaves as expected with the invalid inputs. Okay, and remember here we will be not testing the application as per the requirement. In positive testing, we will be testing the application according to the customer requirement, but in negative testing we will be doing randomly. We will be testing the application in all the aspects and there will be not going exactly what is mentioned in the requirement. No, we will be testing randomly in the ad hoc basis and we will ensure that the application is working as expected when we are giving invalid inputs. Let's understand this. So as I explained already in my positive testing, there is a text box which allows only 5 to 10 characters and accepts only alphabets. So the same requirement we have in the negative testing, how we are going to perform this text box application testing. Okay, so here what I'll be doing is as part of negative testing, I'll be testing an application by taking invalid input. Suppose what I'll do here is I'll be taking less than 5 characters alphabets because requirement is saying 5 to 10 characters, right? So here I'll be taking less than 5 characters and suppose my data is something Raju. So if I'll entering this Raju, then it should give me error saying you cannot allow less than 5 characters data. Okay, that is one test case. The second one will be I'll be taking more than 10 characters data and trying to enter the data in this text box. So at that time also it should be throwing me error saying more than 10 characters data will not allow. The third scenario will be test this text box by taking some numbers, some special characters and some alphanumeric. For example, suppose you are using this invalid data. Okay, so if you will use this invalid data, then this will throw you error saying the text box should accept only alphabets, and since here we are using different value like numbers, special characters and alphanumeric we are using, so it will not allow to enter this data and it should throw the error. So that is how we will be performing negative testing. Now let's understand what is the major difference between positive testing and negative testing. The first point is, as I already explained, in positive testing, we will be checking the expected conditions of an application with the help of valid data. Whereas in case of negative testing, we will be testing the unexpected condition or unwanted condition with the help of invalid data. Okay. The second difference is, in positive testing, it will not cover all possible test cases. Why? Because here, whatever mentioned in the requirement, the same requirement we are going to execute in the application. Okay, as per the requirement we are testing the application and we are ensuring the application behaves as expected. That is why in positive testing it doesn't cover all the possible test cases, whereas in negative testing it cover all the possible test cases, because here in negative testing we are using all our domain experiences, past experiences, and we are thinking all the possible scenarios. We are using different permutations, combinations, different invalid data we are going to use. We are trying to break the code. That is why negative testing cover all possible test cases. The third difference is, positive testing doesn't ensure quality product, whereas in negative testing it ensures quality product. Why? Because as I told, in positive testing we will be testing the application exactly what is mentioned in the requirement, but in negative testing we will be testing all the aspect scenario, whatever the end user can going to perform. So we'll be testing all these possible scenarios with different permutation and combination. That is why we are ensuring that it ensures quality product. Another difference is, positive testing takes less time, because during positive testing we are just testing as per the customer requirement, so it is taking less time. But in negative testing it will take more time. Why? Because here we have to give more effort. We have to think all the possible scenarios, whatever business can think. We will be using different test data, like whatever the combinations customer is going to use. So that's why that will take more effort than this positive testing. Positive testing can be done by anyone, even though irrespective of whatever experiences they have, because everything is mentioned in the requirement document. Okay, they have to read the requirement document, analyze all the positive test cases, and they will be testing the application. That is why any tester, irrespective of year of experience, they can test the application even though they are having less knowledge. But in case of negative testing, we need a professional who is having more year of experience, who is having more knowledge about the application. That can be a past experience or some domain experiences. So that kind of testers we need to perform the negative testing, because they are having more knowledge, so they can think about all the possible scenarios, permutations, combinations they can use to break the application, so that the application can be more robust and stable. Positive testing doesn't ensure bug-free product. Why? Because here we are just testing the application according to the requirement. Beyond that we are not thinking. Okay, but in negative testing it ensures bug-free product, because here we are using our skill sets, domain expertise, past experiences to think all the possible scenarios beyond whatever customer can think. Okay, so that skills we are using, and we are using different permutation and combinations of test data to make the application more stable and reliable. That is why negative testing ensures bug-free product. And the last difference is, whenever application is coming to testing, first we'll be testing positively. Okay, we'll be testing positive testing first, because whenever we are delivering the application to the end user, all the customers, they will not test the application randomly. They will test the application as per their requirement. Okay, whatever they need, right? So based on their requirement, they will be going to use that application. So that is why whenever we are getting the application for testing, first we'll be doing positive testing. And once positive testing is done, then we'll be doing negative testing. So first positive testing will be done, after that negative testing will perform. That's all about positive testing and negative testing. I hope you like my video. If you have liked my video, then please subscribe it, share across with your friends. If you have any further queries regarding this topic, then please ping me. I'll be happy to answer all your queries. Thank you.